This message is about overcoming fear and how fear can be really can be a desire misinterpreted. The fear of death is a desire to live. It's actually a passion for life. It's a clinging to life. Fear of death is a clinging to life. There's some good tension in the air, some anxiety. There's some electricity in the air. It's like whatever leads up to there being a thundering, a movement of energy. And I feel like it relates to understanding and embracing fear. To look fear in the eyes. What does that mean? How can we prevent fear from, or how do we deal with it so it doesn't prevent us from taking the next step forward? And sometimes it can be so blinding that we don't even think about taking the next step. We just accept things that were never meant to be permanent or accepted. We were meant to continue to move. So we have the King of Wands at the bottom of the deck, which is interesting because the last reading, the King of Wands came out as well. And it's normally how I represent myself in a reading as a Leo. So we'll see what we get here to help us understand how to move through this fear energy, how to alchemize it. Judgment, 5 of Cups. There's a bit of heaviness, a bit of emotionality to those 2 cards alone. Four of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles. Wheel of Fortune, 9 of Swords. Excuse me, not 9 of Swords, 9 of Wands, 10 of Wands. Death, Page of Wands, 4 of Cups. What a story we have developing here. It's almost like you were in love with the fight. Sometimes we can be have a love affair with fear itself. For some of us, and I'm going to say us, fear is all we've known. And I don't mean that we've chosen it, but imagine growing up in a time of war. Imagine growing up where trauma is all you knew. For some of us, we don't have to imagine. We felt it, and it's our inbuilt reflex. But you have fought the good fight, and you are so accustomed to fighting to survive that it feels foreign, I think, to be at ease. And it is a death to a way of being. And oddly enough, because of the human nature within us, the act of growth, the motion of growth, there's inherently, vulnerability and fear built into the process of the unfolding of your story. Any human being can relate to this. But what's paradoxical about this is that if you could see what you're growing, if you could trust totally the favor over your life, over you, there would be no reason to fear. There is no reason to fear. There is no reason to fear. The source of life itself isn't under your control. The source, the spring, the well of life that flows through you constantly since the day you were born is not something you can control. And in your case, the environment is now, the scenery is changing. You know how on a play they change the set? Same actors, different scene, different set. And so the background of your life is changing. The scenery is changing. Judgment has been called. And while you are mourning the loss of the familiar, even though it was panic-inducing, and even though you were hard at work, you never gave up, you're actually mourning that. But there is a blessing, a gift. There are blessings, and then there are gifts from the universe. And you are in store for a gift. So there's no reason to fear, because the spirit welling up within you is the spirit of the masculine and being merged with your environment, the divine feminine. There's a merging, there's a marriage. There's a lot of fire energy here. There's a lot of sort of that clashing of that water and that fire. There's an electricity here. There's certainly grief and sorrow. But there's also an innocence. It's almost like the birth of a child. It's messy. It's agonizing. It's laborious. It's painful. But it's also so pure. The void is open. The fabric of reality is open. And from one plane of reality into another, this is what is happening with your life. And you have participated in regards to your grit, in regards to your focus, your devotion. It was just a matter of time before the trumpet blew and the wheel turned and the old self would fall away. And so you experience that emotionally due to the level of compassion that you have. You're reluctant to condemn the past, yourself in the past, others. You're a very forgiving person. And in many ways, you are a gift. In many, many ways, the way that you choose to interpret the sense of grief, the sense of betrayal, the sense of loss, is a gift to the world. To have people that are still, they're bound to you because of who they are in the world and in the flesh. Either parents, siblings, spouses, maybe you have children with these people who were purposefully part of your story in an integral way, in a meaningful way, are witnessing on the receiving end the alchemy of the pain, of the fear, of the anguish. And in reality, the greatest fear that you could face is being asked to love these people and being asked to love yourself. In spite of the inevitable, in spite of, the truth, and to allow your perspective to pierce through the lies and the untruth that they are unworthy. Because that's all it is. When people hurt other people, even if they're choosing that, which is really sad, when people choose to persist in evil, in darkness, when they choose to take pleasure in seeing someone else's hurt, they've really got it ass backwards. And it wouldn't do any good to anyone to feed into that. Sometimes you just have to shake your head and know that it's just a matter of time. Because we're all children of God. But some of us are, and when I say us, I mean your atomic self, the smallest particle of your being, of your essence. When you remove the body, when you remove the psyche, when you remove the thoughts and the mental schema, when you remove the emotions and the form, when you just get down to the light of what you are. Really, it's another's, my brother or my sister's light is prisoner to the density of the material. They're so disoriented, they're so trapped, they're so hopeless. The last thing that this collective thinks about doing is adding to suffering. That is the last thing we're about. And so there was a death to that. We no longer participate, not even on a thought level. We no longer participate in adding to suffering, because no one deserves more suffering. Everyone deserves a glimmer of hope. Everyone deserves compassion, because the truth has nothing to do with past actions. Past actions are symptomatic of untruth, of lies. And so the wheel is turning and judgment is being called upon you. And you are being presented as a new star, as a gift. Especially the way that you choose to treat people. You choose compassion. You choose forgiveness. You choose patience. You choose understanding. Believe it or not everyone understands the implications of those choices. They underestimate these types of virtuous qualities. So, on the level of your essence, there is no need to fear. You were created by God. And when circumstances get confusing, when there are clouds of doubt, I always like to think of doubts as clouds, because all you have to do is rise above them and you're back into clear air, clear space in the sunlight. So doubts are much like the weather, much like clouds. It's, can't pay too much attention to it. On a cloudy day, you know how much it affects our mood when it's cloudy and it's always rainy, and we forget that the sun is still shining. The sun is always shining. Life is always giving. It's everlasting. It's infinite. It's eternal. And it's now. And you are now. Therefore, you are infinite, and you are eternal, and you are everlasting. It's the things that we've been taught are permanent or that should last that were never designed to. It's designed to be a transient, transformative experience, this life. Designed to lift others, to help others. So in that way, you are a gift because of the choices you make in your soul, in your heart. There's no need to fear. Life is being given. It's a pure, I think just wait and see. There's not much more to describe other than the energy and I think I said it all, and I think that's what the cards are saying. So I think just stay tuned. Maintain a positive, nurturing, loving attitude toward yourself. Be a midwife to yourself during this time. You know how you pamper yourself. Be gentle, be slow. Find a rhythm in your breath. Listen for the sounds around you, the wind, the trees. Be in tune with the atmosphere, and that will help this kind of birthing process as you transition, especially emotionally. So hope this helps.